on what he makes of this. Some of those companies, Mark, very good to have you, by the way, are insisting their workers return. I'm wondering where you draw and how do you draw that line?
So first, good morning, Neil. Thank you very much for having me. A happy Easter weekend to you and your viewers. It's an interesting line to draw. For large companies like Google and Facebook, they have the resources to make certain that they have a safe workplace, but most businesses are not Google or Facebook and have to be careful before they go about enacting and implementing requirements for their workers to return to work.
So what do you do? That they take care of that stuff, though, Mark. I'm just curious. How do you make sure that you're balancing some workers who want a mix of, a hybrid work environment where they can work a couple of days from home versus some days in the office? How do you juggle that?
So if it's a business that has an at-will workforce, and most businesses are, it's the business that gets to set the policy. As we slowly return to normal, that business gets to determine whether they want their workforce back full-time, part-time, or some sort of hybrid of some of the week from home, some of the week back from the office. But the important thing is that an at-will employee cannot refuse to return to work if there's a requirement from the employer to come into the office. There has to be some sort of reasonable belief by that employee that they're in imminent danger of risk or death or serious injury. And a reasonable person would have to agree that there's also that same sort of risk, and then make a request upon your employer to fix that risk so you can come into the office safely. But you can't refuse to come into work when your employer says come in, and as the employee, you generally don't get to decide. I think it's a good thing that Google is moving in this direction. We need to get back to work. It's good for our economy. It's good for families. It's good for prosperity. We need to get things moving, get back to work, get back to office, get back to normal.
Got it. All right, Marc Gross, thank you very, very much on that. We'll see where this takes corporations and their workers as they busily plan for the great return. Some say probably push back into the fall, but there's no way of knowing.